Hello, Booktube. Hello, friends. Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth. It is Tuesday, July the 12th, and I celebrated an anniversary yesterday. Yesterday, July 11th, was my 7th year anniversary on Booktube. So I thought originally I would maybe try to get a video done yesterday, but it didn't happen, so I'm doing it today. It's a Tuesday. Normally I film on Wednesdays now with my new organizational plan, and since I'm doing this today, I may not film one tomorrow, or I might. There's a really fun tag video that I saw Chloe from Always Booked do, and I may do that one. So anyway, today though, in celebration of my anniversary on Booktube, I thought I would take a little bit of a look back. I was just kind of looking at some of my most watched videos, and just it's interesting to see which videos have been the most popular. And since it's almost the middle of the month, I may as well go ahead and do a mid-month wrap-up and share with you what I'm currently reading, and also let you know again about the Retro Romance Readathon, which is happening right now. It just started on the 10th, and it is a 2-week-long readathon hosted by Storm from Storm Reads and Sarah, the Bookish Knitter, to encourage us to read some retro romances. And I have read several already, and I'm really enjoying them. And then I was looking at my phone, trying to clear off some things, and I noticed that I have some footage from some little free libraries that I shot several weeks ago. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that on at the end of this video. Maybe not right at the end, at some point in the video. And I may as well go ahead and share that with you. My big dream is to take my action camera, which is like a cheaper version of a GoPro, and just do a grand tour of all the little free libraries that I can find. But I still don't know how to use that camera. I do have a friend who has offered to help me, and we've got to set up a Zoom call where they can hopefully show me how to work the camera. But I just filmed some with my phone one day after a dentist appointment in Orlando. So I want to show you that footage. And let's just get started. Oh, and we have a new foster kitten. And this one is extra special. And I will tell you more about him in a little while. But let's get the book updates done first. So currently, right now, as I said, it's the 12th, and I have finished, you could say 9 books, or you could say 11 books. On Goodreads, it's going to look like 9, because a couple of them, some of the books I'm reading for the Retro Romance Readathon are bind-ups, and I'm going to go ahead and log in the editions that I listen to, which are the bind-ups. If you divide them all out, there, it's going to look like more, but it doesn't really matter. It's from 9 to 11. So let me show you what I've finished so far that are not retro romances, and then I'll show you my current reads that are not retro romances, and then we'll talk about the retro romances and what I'm reading going forward. So what I have finished so far, a couple of really short books that I read in print. This one is a sequel to Lawn Boy by Gary Paulsen. It's Lawn Boy Returns. I really loved Lawn Boy. I just thought it was so clever, and I would recommend it. This one is not quite as appealing as the first one, but as a sequel, it's definitely a good book in that it shows you what happens next to Lawn Boy. And if you have read Lawn Boy and enjoyed it, I would recommend picking this one up. And then I have shown this before, and I finally got it read. This is Secrets Held Within by C.A. Afonso. She is a local author to me, and her family were in our local public library one Saturday morning doing book sales and book signings, and I stopped by and chatted and bought the book. So I think that she has got some great ideas. This little short story takes place in a funeral home, and I mean, the characters, oh my goodness. It's really, it's creepy. It's, I don't know how to even describe it, but the premise is just really unique, or I should say how the crime is handled, and how the deaths are covered up. Let me just say that is very unique. And I think that, as an author, she's definitely got some really crazy, creepy ideas. So I would love to see more from her, and I would love to read more. I will say, though, that this book, I'm not sure if it's self-published or what, but whoever she got to edit this book just didn't do it sufficiently. It really has a lot of editing issues that make the story suffer, because, and maybe it wouldn't for other people. I saw that someone else had rated it 5 stars, and for an idea and the creepy factor, yeah, but because I'm the perpetual editor, and I am an actual freelance editor, I sat down to read it, and I was like, oh no, I have to edit this. And so I just edited as I read it, because I couldn't help it. Miss Afonso, if you're watching this, and if you're interested in what my edits would be, you're welcome to contact me, and I'll be happy to share. But I'm not going to force myself on you as an editor. But anyway, in my opinion, it does definitely need some more copy editing and polishing in order to really improve it and make it what it should be. But anyway, I think it is available on Amazon if you want to check it out, and I hope that you will. Then and also her daughter makes bookmark holder things that you put on your thumb, and I was going to show it to you, and now I've misplaced it. I have used it several times, where you put it on your thumb, and it comes out so that it holds your book open for you, and it's really great. So I will put their information down in the description as soon as I can find it. Then what else did I finish? So the rest of what I finished is on audio, and at the beginning of the month, I went ahead and listened to 3 books on Audible Plus from the Quilts of Love series. And I won't go into detail about all of these, but I will show them to you. I've got 2 of them in print, and these are, I believe, books 4 and 5. Let me just double check that. Yes, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a numbered collection. Let me just really stress, and this is coming from a person who really believes in reading everything in order. I'm reading these in order, but they're all standalone books. The underlying theme is that each book has something to do with a quilt in some form, and they are all Christian romances. So far, a lot of the ones that I have read have had children involved, as far as maybe they're orphaned, or their mother or father is widowed, and they do come into play and are important characters in several of the books. So, For Love of Eli by Loree Lough. Eli is actually a little boy who has been orphaned and is being raised by his aunt, and his uncle on the other side of the family also has visitation. So, it's a unique blended family, and very interesting, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. Then also, Threads of Hope by Christa Allan is about a man who is widowed, and him and his wife had adopted a daughter from Ethiopia who is HIV positive. And so in this book, features the AIDS memorial quilt, which I think is a real thing, and it's just a huge, enormous project that has been done in memory of people who have died of AIDS. So anyway, Threads of Hope is also very, very good. And then the other one I don't have a physical copy of. I can't think what the title is right now, but I'm going to put it right here. I believe the author is Angela Breidenbach. I'll put it right here. I shouldn't try to do these things from memory. Anyway, something like Healing Hearts, or Hearts That Heal. Oh my lands. I don't know. But it's about a woman who is widowed, and she has really struggled to keep her business from being taken over. And she has 3 kids, and she's trying to make a quilt for her oldest daughter who's graduated from high school. And because of all the stress of everything, she has a heart attack. So it goes from there. Anyway, very, very good. So I'm going to plan on definitely continuing to read and hopefully finish that series by the end of the year. It's on my Serious About series list. And that, by the way, is a challenge that I will probably do a separate video of, maybe kind of a mid-year update of what series I have finished in the first half of the year and what I still have left to finish in the second half of the year, and how I'm doing with that challenge, as well as how I'm doing with my Binge Your Bookshelf challenge. So then I have 2 cozy mysteries that I don't have physical copies of, and I'll tell you more about them later, but it is the Scottish Highland Mysteries by Molly MacRae, and I believe this is book 3, Thistles and Thieves, and I listened to that on Hoopla. The premise of the whole series is that some women, a mother and daughter, and I think one other person, have moved from the United States to Scotland and have bought a bookstore. And it's a very good premise. There's a recurring character of an author. It's always fun when you have a bookstore and then you've got a local author who, has to come in and visit every once in a while to see how their books are doing, that kind of thing. This author has some personality flaws. They don't really love him, but he does provide a little bit of comedy relief. And then the next one that I listened to is Heather and Homicide. And these really should be read in order, because in Heather and Homicide, there's a young woman who comes there to the bookstore, and she is she's writing a true crime novel about the murder that took place in the previous book. So that's kind of an interesting, caveat of this series. So anyway, then I feel like I've listened to something else, but I can't think what it is. That's everything I have in here, except for the retro romance stuff, which I will tell you about in just a minute. So my current reads, I am still plugging away at Pioneer Girl by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I think I'm a little over the halfway point at this time, and I'm really enjoying that. I try to read, even if it's just 2 pages every day. I have not really gotten much reading done today. I had an early appointment, and that's really why I was doing this video today, because I had an early appointment, and while I was still dressed, before I changed into my work clothes and got all sweaty, I thought I would just go ahead and film this today. But the other book I've been currently reading since January is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Now, I read some in January, and I think a little bit of February, and I basically put it down after that, and I did not pick it back up until June. So I am now almost to the halfway point, really enjoying it. I just have all these very specific readathons in February, March, April, and May, and I just couldn't get back to it. So Felicia and I, started out leading this as a readathon, or not a readathon, a read-along. She did finally finish it in April, and I might get it done by August. I don't know. We'll see. If I keep going like I am, it's very compelling. I say, when I pick it up, I think, okay, I'll at least just read 2 pages. Well, I usually end up reading 4 or 5, and sometimes more, because I just get engrossed in the story. And I will say, though, that if we try to do a read-along of the second book, we originally thought we were going to try to do 2 of these in 1 year. Whew, what was I thinking? Anyway, I think if we do this as a read-along next year, I don't want to start it until maybe June, so that I don't have the interference of all the other readathons. Anyway, a couple of other buddy read books. We're doing a read-along of the Penderwicks series. So we're on book 3 this month in July, the Penderwicks at Point Mouette. Very much am enjoying this. I've been trying to read about a chapter a day. I don't always get it done. I'm ready to start chapter 9 now, but I've got the whole month to read that one. Now, I'm doing a buddy read of a retro romance series. We've been buddy reading this for several years. We usually try to do 1 or 2 every summer, because usually Sarah does some sort of a romance bingo or readathon, and she's doing it again this year, this time with Storm, and we're focusing on retro romances. So it's a good thing that these fit the bill, because these were all published back in the 90s. This is the Welcome to Tyler series, published by Harlequin, and it's a 12-book series. I believe one came out, they came out 1 a month. at the time they were originally published, and we only have this one and 2 more left to go. So I think we are going to go ahead and try to finish the series this summer by reading 2 books this month and then 1 book next month. And we're reading a chapter a day. I am currently on chapter 11 right now, so today's the 12th. I need to finish chapter 11 and go ahead and read chapter 12 today. This has 15 chapters, and then the next book in the series has 17 chapters. So there'll be 16 days left. We'll just have to, double up at the end and read a couple chapters on the last day of the month. And we'll get both of these done this month. And I'm counting both of these for the Retro Romance Readathon, even though the Readathon started on the 10th, and we started this on the 1st. It goes to the 24th, and we won't finish this one until the end of the month. But we will be reading both of these during that time. So I think there's some prompts. I haven't looked yet to see if I'm covering all the prompts or not, but I'll try to work those in somehow. Anyway, then on, okay, so let me finish my current reads before I get into all the retro romance stuff. I'm also buddy reading this with Donna, and possibly Storm will be able to pick it up at some point, but this is book 2 in the Overthrow series by Kenneth Opel. This is a middle grade horror series, and it's kind of creepy. I am not quite a third done. I have been trying to pick it up and read just a little bit every day. I'm almost done with chapter 8, and I think at the end of chapter 8 was the cutoff for our discussion thread. So when I finish chapter 8, I'll be able to go on my discussion threads on my Goodreads group, Lizzie Faye's Comfy Corner, and these are not comfy books, but I'll be able to go on there, Donna, if you're watching this, and leave some comments about the first 8 chapters. Then from my last TBR jar draw, which was a long time ago, I have been reading Dare to Discipline by James Dobson. This is a really old edition. It has been updated since then, but this is the one I had. I picked this up when my kids were small, never got it read. Finally, eventually put all my parenting books in my TBR jar, and I've been able to get through them a few at a time. I'm still really curious about this. I know that Dr. Dobson has a very big following as far as, the focus on the family and all of that stuff. So I would really like to read this and get his ideas. And I'm not too far into it. I will probably, hope to finish it by the end of the month. And then I'll still have a couple more from that TBR jar draw. One is a shorter, humorous book. And then I discovered there's one more that, I don't know. I may DNF it. I'm going to at least start it. I don't even know why I picked it up. But anyway, that was the whole reason I started the TBR jar, because I have all these books that I picked up randomly at library sales that looked interesting at some point, but I was just never getting to them. So I put them in my TBR jar, and I draw out usually 6 or 8 at a time and at least give them a second look. I have DNF'd at least one. Most of them, most of the time I end up gleaning something really good from them. They're mostly all nonfiction, and I do end up reading almost all of them. But I at least, I've said I want to at least pick them up and see if I still want to read them, and if I don't, then I can let them go. Okay, then the other book that I started that I'm not super far into, but this was my next cozy mystery to read. I'm ready to start chapter 3. Shades of Earl Grey by Laura Childs is book 3 in the Tea Shop Mysteries. And then another audiobook that I started, I've only listened to 1 disc, and this was just the only way I could find this. This is a series, I think, that's on my Serious About Series list. Maybe it's on my secondary list that I want to make progress in, but not necessarily finish. Anyway, I found a bunch of these at a free library sale. Basically, they were free. And the books that I found for free, I'm not quite up to yet. So I checked this out from the library. This is book 5 in the Flavia de Luce series, which is a series that's set in the 1950s in England. And it's about an 11-year-old girl who's a sleuth and a chemist. And it's by Allan Bradley. This book is called Speaking from Among the Bones. So I went ahead and checked this out, and my thought process is that I will listen to this when my phone is charging. And I have listened to 1 disc. I think it's an 8-disc series, 8-disc book. Yes. So I should be able to get this done by the end of the month. Okay, so then the retro romances. I finally got started on the series that I had intended to read for the retro romance readathon that Storm hosted in February, and I am loving it. I am zipping through it. Now, here's a funny thing. I had a bunch of stuff, I do have a bunch of stuff checked out on Hoopla that I haven't gotten to. It's all gonna expire before this readathon ends. So my thought process was, I'll go ahead and I'll listen to that stuff and then I'll start this. But then my app got messed up on my phone, my Hoopla app. And it's too much to go into, but I can't get logged back in on my phone. And it was really just, it was like a sign from God, okay, I had to cut you off on Hoopla so that you would get to the books that you really should read for this readathon. We think God doesn't care about the little things. He really does. But I thought, well, if I can't listen to Hoopla, I can go to Scribd because that's where I have these, and I'm loving them. They're so good. So the series is the Heart of Texas series by Debbie Macomber, and I am listening to these on Scribd, and they are published on Scribd in the same form as these bind-ups, volume 1, 2, and 3. I hope that, so these are the first 6 books. I hope that book 7, which is Promise, Texas, I hope it's on there, but if it's not, then I'll have to read it in print at some point. But I'm at least going to finish these. Each of these were originally published, this was a total of 6 books, and the first book, this is volume 1, Heart of Texas, and I do happen to have, from a recent book haul, the first 4 in their original form, and I thought I would just show them to you while I have them. These are going in my eBay store. Eventually those will as well, but the first 2 books are Lonesome Cowboy and Texas Two-Step, and those are the books that are in volume 1. So I listened to both of those on Sunday, which was the first day of the readathon. I just zipped through them. So good. And then I think at the end of the night, I went ahead and started, at least I downloaded the next one, which is volume 2. And volume 2 contains 2 books, Caroline's Child and Dr. Texas. So I got both of these done so quickly yesterday that I went ahead and downloaded volume 3, which I don't have another physical copy of, but I have already finished the first book in volume 3, which is Nell's Cowboy. If I can find a picture of that cover, I will put it up. And so now today I will listen to the 6th book in the series, which is Lone Star Baby, and both of those are in here. So on Goodreads, I am counting these like this as one book, which is why at the beginning of the video I said I finished either 9 or 11. It's because I couldn't decide, whether to count these, this is 4 books or 2 books. So that's where that came in. So the next book, if I can find it on audio, I'm going to go right into it. Promise, Texas, and then there is one more, the 8th book, which is Return to Promise. I love the series. It's obviously set in Texas, in a town called Promise, Texas, and this is a series you definitely do want to read in order. It is one cohesive story, which is why it's been so easy to go in from one to the next to the next. And you meet, at least of the first 5 books, we have met all of the characters from the books. You meet just about all of them in book 1. And by book 2, you have met everybody who are, all the couples in each of the 5 books that I've read so far. There's also an overarching mystery that has to do with a ghost town that's in the area. It's very mysterious, very taboo to go there. And of course, all the characters in each book want to go there, and they just get this overwhelming sense of just horrible. It's just they get this terrible feeling when they visit. They want to go there and they're like, get me out of here. It just feels like death, and nobody knows why. In the 5th book, we finally found out why. So I'm curious to know where we're going to go with that story in book 6. But it's just been fantastic. So if you are a Debbie Maycomer fan and you've not ever picked up the Heart of Texas series, start at the first one and just go through them one at a time. The characters are great. The romances are fun. It's just great. I love them. And I did accomplish one of the Just June goals yesterday that I had not accomplished, and that was to exercise while listening to an audiobook, because I walked to the post office. I had parked my car in the front of the driveway, and Katie had parked hers in front, behind my car. So she would have had to have gone out and moved her car, which she could have, but she was busy. So I had 20 minutes before the post office closed, and it's a few blocks away. And I told my husband, I said, I'm just going to walk to the post office. So put in my audiobook, and I walked to the post office, mailed my eBay package, and walked home. So I have checked that off my list. All right, so while we're still on the subject of retro romances, I've got to show you this one book. I think this is one of the books I picked up in my library book sale haul, and I did just kind of an overview of the romances, and I didn't show you each individual one, but there were several of these books. Actually, I don't know if this came from that haul or not, but at some point I ended up with about 7 of the what I think are the original love-inspired books. And I have only listed 6 of them together as one lot in my eBay store because I'm keeping one of them. And this was the oldest one that was in that set. And here's the reason I'm keeping it. This is from October of 1998. That's when I got married. And look, it's about a wedding. And they even kind of look like us. In fact, I'm going to pause now, and I'm going to go put this next to one of our wedding photos, and I'm going to just show you. All right, there's kind of a glare here, but this is the picture that hangs in our living room. So look at this. The dress is even kind of similar, and my hair and everything. It's so funny. This is called A Wedding in the Family by Catherine Alexander. And I probably won't read it this month, but I'm definitely keeping it. Wasn't that funny? I even showed it to my daughter Katie, and she's like, yeah, I can kind of see the resemblance. So what I want to do next, we'll just use that to segue back into anniversaries. So my wedding anniversary is October, but the reason I'm doing this video today is because of my Booktube anniversary, which also happens to be the birthdays of a couple of people. Of course, by the time you see this, and as I'm filming this, it's the day after. But yesterday, July 11th, is the birthday of a couple of people who I watch on YouTube. One of them is our friend Storm from Storm Reads, who is a booktuber and also has recently become a reseller. And then there is a reseller channel that I watch. It's The Hustle Couple. The Hustle Couple are Dan and Amy, and yesterday was Dan's birthday as well. So happy birthday to both of them, and I hope that you guys had a great day. Also, because it was 7-Eleven, I found out this year that it's Slurpee Day. I missed going to 7-Eleven yesterday. I was pretty busy and doing a lot of things, and I just didn't make it over there. But next year, I'm going to try to make it over there. I understand that maybe you can get a free Slurpee, and I have the 7-Eleven app even, but one of these days, maybe I'll get over there to do that. So, in just thinking about my 7 years on Booktube, I thought it would be fun to look back. Every so often, I look and I see what are my most watched videos, and it's still the top. The top few have maintained and stayed near the top. In fact, my top most viewed video has been my most viewed video ever since I uploaded it. And it really does not have much to do with books, except that it is a video where I showed my bookcase quilt that my sister made. And it has over and above way more views than any of my other videos. At 15,000 views, and it's not even that good of a video. I really ought to redo it, because I went back and watched it a few months ago, and it's really shaky. I was just learning how to use a digital camera at that point, and it just didn't come out that great. But apparently a lot of people are looking for bookcase quilts, and they have found my video. So I want to say thank you again to my sister Charla for making me that quilt. And if you're interested in seeing other quilting videos, I do have another one that I showed of her row by row quilt that she made a few years ago. That's on my channel somewhere. And then if I can find it, I'll try to put it up here, but it's pretty far back. Then I have a coffee themed quilt that she made for me just a couple of years ago, and we are working right now. I just bought some clips so that I can actually hang a quilt in my living room. I've got one nice big wall where I can hang a quilt, and I could switch it out if I wanted to. So the one that's going to hang there for the most part is going to be the bookcase quilt. But once we get that new rod up, I will put the coffee quilt up, and I will perhaps do a video of that if you're interested in seeing it. So let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in seeing other quilts, I've got some old ones. You know, this is not a quilting channel, but I do like to read books about quilts. So anyway, but going back now to my videos, and the way to see, and I think you could do this for any channel. It doesn't just have to be your own channel. But if you click on videos and then you go over to a little set of lines where it says sort, you can sort your videos according to oldest, newest, and most watched. So you just click on, or most popular, I think it's called. So the very next one is where to start with cozy mysteries, and that video, I'm looking at the computer now, that video is a few years old, and I noticed that it was getting a lot of views even a couple years after I had made it, and the thumbnail I originally put on that was not very good. So I updated the thumbnail and made it a little better, and since then it has continued to grow and get views. So again, that's something that, you know, I could update at some point, but it still stands. The video, it is an evergreen video as far as I'm concerned. And then in addition to where to start with cozy mysteries, there are a couple of cozy mystery book hauls that are also in the top 12, and a couple of other just book hauls in general that, you know, had a good thumbnail, you know, and ended up getting a good views. So next one, interestingly enough, is an author focus where I was showcasing all of the books that I had in my collection by Miss Reed. Now, since that time, I have collected quite a few more, and I have actually read several of them. At the time I did that video, I had not even read a single one. So it was more like a book haul than anything, but it continues to get views. I still get comments on it. And now that I have read quite a few, really should do a part 2 and, you know, an update since, you know, it continues to get views. Now, of the first 12 videos, because I'm looking at our computer screen, there's 6 in a row. Of the first row and the second row, 2 of the videos are author focus videos. There's the Miss Reed one, and then the 12th one is my Jeanne Karen video, where I did kind of a recommended reading order and a whole video about Jeanne Karen and all of her books. Not just the Mitford books, but she has a few other books as well. So that's in the top 12. And then, interestingly enough, 5 or 6 of the, I think 6 of the videos have to do with middle grade books. Now, when I usually post a middle grade book, it doesn't get a lot of views right off the bat. But eventually, over time, the books that I've done, like specific book reviews for certain middle grade books, if people are searching for that book, those end up getting views. And I still get comments on middle grade reviews that I have done several years ago. And I feel like sometimes they are younger readers who are watching those videos. Maybe they have to do a book report or something, and but a lot of times I will get comments from kids who say, I just read this book, you know, and I liked it, or you know, I didn't like it, or whatever. And so that's pretty cool. Of the other middle grade videos, they are all showcasing Sunshine State books that were written for ages 3rd to 5th grade. Now, I have been reading Sunshine State books for 6th to 8th grade for several years now, because I was volunteering with our middle school librarian where Katie went to middle school, and I was helping her with Book Bowl and all the things that involved. only 1 year did I read also the 3rd to 5th grade books. And I did an overview video of all the 3rd to 5th grade books with our librarian from our local public library. And then I did a separate video for the 3rd grade books, the 4th grade books, and the 5th grade books. So that overview video and then 2 of the others are all in my top 12. And this has been several years ago now. So that almost makes me think that there's more parents out there looking for books, good books, for their 3rd to 5th grade age. Because by the time they get on into 6th grade, I guess the parents are thinking, you know, they're picking out their own books. And so I had kind of been thinking now that since our middle school librarian is retired and I don't need to read the 6th to 8th grade books, I might go back now going forward and start reading the 3rd to 5th grade list. I think I would maybe enjoy them more. They're shorter. They wouldn't take as long to read because I was already thinking I would just stop reading the 6th to 8th grade Sunshine State list just because I don't have time. I don't have that much time and get everything else done that I want to read. But the 3rd to 5th grade list would be easier to read, shorter books, and apparently people are looking for those kinds of videos. And I would like to invite you to go back and watch any of my older videos that you would like. The very first video that I uploaded was an introductory video, and there you can hear about my early reading experiences and what brought me to Booktube. And then I think I did upload a second video that same day, and it is a Scholastic book haul. I used to go to the Scholastic Warehouse book sales that they used to have annually, and I don't think they've had those yet since COVID. I'm hoping maybe by next year. They actually might have had one this year, but I kind of forgot to check and see if it was happening. There is a Scholastic Warehouse in my area. It's up north of Orlando, so it's a little over an hour drive for me, but definitely worth going to, and it's such a fun experience. So interestingly enough, of my top 12 most watched videos, a couple of those are Scholastic book hauls, and I think in one of those there is some footage that I shot in the warehouse. So you know, go check it out. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about that is book related is the Booktube spin. So Rick McDonnell announced a little while back that he was going to be taking a break from Booktube, and then he came right back on and said, but wait, there's the Booktube spin. So all in one video, he did the announcement, and then he said, okay, if you need to pause the video and go and make your list and then come back, I'm going to do the spin. But I already knew that I was going to do my same list that I had used for round 5 and round 6. Now I may change it up and go back to my Christmas list that I used for round 4 for round 8, but let's worry about that later. For round 7, I am using the same list because these are all books that I can get on audio, and I accidentally made a list of 21 initially, so I have said to myself, if a number gets duplicated, I'll just bump that book 21 up into that slot, and it's all good. So there are ways that I can substitute, but I didn't need to. We had 2 new numbers that were chosen, and I want to show you what they are. And like I said before, these are books that I'm going to be able to get on audio, I hope, now that my Hoopla is messed up on my phone. I still can get Hoopla audio on my computer, and now we have a new computer, so it's got good volume on it, but you know, I hope I can get it straightened out on my phone. Anyway, Mrs. Lincoln's Rival by Jennifer Shiverini was what I had as number 9 on the list, and so I don't know if this is a sequel to Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker, which I have read, but it was a slow-paced book, and kind of I enjoyed the book, but it was just hard to get through because it was just very slow. And I'm hoping that this one will grab me a little bit more. I'm hoping it'll be maybe a little more compelling, I guess. But I'm glad that I can get it on audio. And then the other book I'm really very excited about, because this is by Robin Hobb. This is Fool's Errand, book 1 in the Tawny Man trilogy, which, as I understand from Sam, from Sam's Nonsense, who published a Robin Hobb reading order several years ago, this is the, in the order that you should read them in, is the Assassin's Apprentice trilogy, and then the Mad Ship, or what is it, Farship trilogy, and then the Tawny Man. So this is the first Tawny Man. I have listened to both of the other trilogies. It's all in the world of the Elderlings, I believe, and I'm excited to get to this one. So this is Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. And if I'm really loving this, I may go right ahead and try to read the whole trilogy this year, as long as I can get them on audio. All right, the next thing is to share with you the Little Free Library footage that I have shot over the past couple of months. And in this first clip, this is going to be of our Little Free Library at the high school where my daughter graduated from. I have done a video there before where I showed some books that I was putting in there, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. At a book haul from my public library right before the end of the school year, I had picked up some books that were nonfiction that the library had weeded out that were all geared towards teens. And I wanted to go ahead and get those put in the Little Free Library before the school year ended, just in case, you know, any kids were looking for something to read over the summer. I have not gone back to check and see if they have been taken or if any of them have been taken, but I will show you the footage of what I put in. And then I'll go straight on into the other Little Free Library footage, which are 3 different Little Free Libraries in one area of Orlando. I had a dentist appointment at a specialist a few weeks ago, and I just went on the Little Free Library app to see if there were any Little Free Libraries in the area, and there were. So I want to show you that footage, and then I'm going to come back here and introduce you to our newest kitten, Foster. So even though it's the last week of school, I decided to go ahead and stop by the local high school to the Little Free Library and leave a few books that I got last week at the book sale. They were mostly teen self-help books, and so I thought, you know, somebody might be looking for something to read over the summer, so I just go ahead and bring them over. Anyway, I stopped by here not too long ago and straightened up a little bit, and it looks like most of what was here then is still here, as I recall. I did clean out a few, like there were some sale flyers and stuff, and I left a few random catalogs here, but there were just some random stuff in here that I did take out to recycle. But anyway, here's what I'm putting in. Teen Uncover the Real You, a quiz book. These are things that have been weeded out from our local library. Your Name in Print, a teen's guide to publishing for fun, profit, and academic success. Wising Up, Youth Guide to Good Living. Healing Your Grieving Heart for Teens, 100 Practical Ideas. I haven't been saying the author's name, but hopefully you've been able to see it. Allan D. Wolfelt. And then one more. Too Stressed to Think, a teen's guide to staying sane when life makes you crazy. And it is by Annie Fox and Ruth Kirshner. So that's what I'm putting in here. And maybe, you know, somebody will find them and take them home for the summer, or they should still be here when the school year starts back up next year. So that's it for now. I had an endodontist appointment today in Orlando, and so when I got done, I thought I would check the Little Free Library app and see if there were any in the area. And I found this little guy in a really pretty neighborhood that was about 10 minutes from where my appointment was. So I thought I would show you. I don't have anything with me to trade, but this is really cute. And there's a good mix of YA and adult and kids. I see a few books I already have, some that I've read. Anyway, it's very nice and clean. And I don't see anything I need to pick up. This is interesting. It's a shadow book of Polar Express. Huh. Interesting. Alright, there's one or two more in this region of Orlando, so maybe I'll go check them out too. Alright, so I found the next one. There's not really a good place to park here unless you park in someone's driveway, so I'm going to make it quick. But here's another one in front of someone's house. The last one I showed you was in a cul-de-sac, so that made parking a little bit easier. But this one also has some dog walking bags, which is cute. I mean, that's awesome. And a few books. I got the color purple. There's even some toys. There's a Wendy Mass book I haven't heard of. Pie in the Sky. Cute. So there's several kids' books here. And a Barbie. And a little bear. That's neat. Ozark Tales. That sounds neat. Richard and Judy Dockery Young. I might take that if I had something to trade. I need to always carry books with me that I could trade. I just forget. Let's see what this one has. Sandra Brown, Seeing Red. Alright, well, there is one more that I might try to find. Hang on, I gotta turn the camera off. Anyway, I need both hands to put this one back in, but I will hopefully see you at the next one. Alright, I found the third one, and all of these, this one and the two previous, are in the Dr. Phillips Windermere area of Orlando, and they are all on the Little Free Library map, which I found using the Little Free Library app. So, this one has a little secondary thing here. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe for pens or pencils or, I don't know, brochures or something. It looks like, yeah, this house has a for sale sign. So, I don't know if there are people still living here, if they went and left this, or if they're still here or whatever, but it's in a little bit of disarray. Here's one, a cozy mystery that I have not heard of, by Kate Dyer Seeley, First Degree Murder. I think Kate Dyer Seeley is also the name of another, I think Kate Dyer Seeley is a pseudonym for someone else that I should know, but I always hesitate to say the name unless I'm sure. Anyway, not my thing. But anyway, let's see what's here. I'm going to turn the camera off and try to straighten up just a little bit. Alright, I'm not going to take anything from here, but I at least am leaving it a little straighter than how it was when I found it. Alright, before I bring in the kitten, I want to just let you know that he will be a little bit hard to look at for some of you, maybe. And I want to just let you know in advance, because he still has some stitches and he is blind. He was brought into my daughter's workplace. She works at a vet office. She's a vet tech. And one eyeball was already ruptured and the other one was very infected and there was no saving it. So they did do a surgery and removed both of his eyeballs and the affected tissue, and then stitched him up so that he will not have to continue dealing with infections, we hope, and he will be permanently blind, of course. And then they needed a place for him to go until he is healed and get his stitches out. And we're hoping that we'll be able to find a good home for him. It will definitely need to be a home where he can feel safe, and where, you know, probably not our home because we have so many animals running around, and, you know, I just don't feel like he would be safe here. But he's doing very well, and we have him in a large dog crate where he has his bed and litter box and food and water bowl. they stay in the same place all the time so that he can find them, and he's just doing great. So I'm going to bring him in here and let you meet him, but I just wanted to let you know he does still have some stitches. He has pulled out a few of them, but we're hoping that he's going to be fine. So actually, before I bring him in, though, this has prompted me. I mentioned my Booktube spin books. One of the books on my list is this book right here, Homer's Odyssey. This is about a blind cat, and I think I'm going to go ahead and listen to this one as well. I was really hoping it would get chosen, but it didn't. I have been wanting to read this, and now that we have a blind kitty in our household, I think it, you know, I have all the more motivation to read this, and I'm going to try to get Katie to read it as well. But if any of you have ever read this, let me know. It says that this is a fearless feline tale, or How I Learned About Love and Life with a Blind Wonder Cat by Gwen Cooper. So let me go and get him, and I'll tell you that once I get him in here, I'll share with you what we've been calling him. And we're back. So as you might be able to see, he's white with a little bit of Siamese coloring. And he doesn't like to turn around, though. He likes to be where he can be in control. But look at his little face. He's so sweet. And we had decided to start calling him Possum, because if you look at his little face, he does kind of look like a little possum baby. But anyway, he's very sweet. He, of course, doesn't know where he is right now. This is not a room he's used to being in. And he is used to me, some more Katie than me. But my phone was about to die, so I had to go and charge it for a few minutes before I could come back and sign off. So anyway, we have been calling this little guy Possum, and he is really sweet, and he's just doing very well under the circumstances. He's kind of a climber. He does climb up the side of the crate and climbs up my shirt and wants to sit on my back. But other than that, he's doing great. So anyway, just wanted you to meet him, and we have successfully adopted out the previous foster that I had fed on a bottle since Mother's Day. And I thought we would take a little break from fostering, but then, you know, when the need arises, you do what you need to do. So anyway, we are happy to have this little guy and helping him in his, you know, post-surgery days. And we're hoping that, you know, we can find him a good home. If you happen to live in Central Florida and would like to adopt a blind kitty, then let me know, and I will tell you the details. So that is all I have for this video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I know at this point it's been a long video, but I just wanted to do something to celebrate my Booktube anniversary, and also wanted to just give another quick shout out to Storm from Storm Reads and Dan from the Hustle Couple, who had birthdays yesterday, and anyone else who's having a birthday this week. I hope that your birthday is fantastic. So thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.